Before I begin the video, I would like to say that this video is a sequel to the Shadow Freddy video that I made a little bit ago. So I'd highly advise that you watch the video if you want to be caught up with this little journey that I'm going through. I'll leave it here in the description for your viewing, but if you already watched the video, then strap on in because this will probably be an interesting journey. Hey, so remember when I stated that I believed that Shadow Freddy's Nightmarionne and all that cool stuff? Yeah, I believed that for a good while, but that was until I realized something. They may not be the same. Okay, listen. The theory isn't dead, per se, but I don't really believe it as much as I used to. So yeah, there's that. But I'm not gonna waste your time with this intro, as it's time for me to lock in with this Shadow Bear funny theory video that I'm probably way too hyperfixated on, but that's a story for another day. So what is it that made me question my belief of Nightmarionne being Shadow Freddy? Well, it is mainly these two things that knocked me down. For one, Jackie's wither design in Secret of the Mimic is just flat out Nightmarionne, down to the jumpscare voice and design. This would imply that Nightmarionne existed for as long as the 70s, which can be a bit troubling since Shadow Freddy is heavily tied towards the Fazbear brand and Afton family. Now I could say that Shadow Freddy didn't initially start off as a Freddy, it was actually this weird thing, and that he existed for a very long time, but I'm not 100% sure with that. It kinda makes me look like I'm grasping at straws to keep the theory alive, but what do I know, maybe I'm wrong. Be sure to tell me if you do have a solution for this. As for the second problem, Shadow Puppet is kinda a big elephant in the room that I somehow overlooked in the first part. Don't ask how, I genuinely do not know, but I'd like to thank Underscore's Nightmarionne video for bringing attention to this, because I'm not even sure if I would even point out this flaw in the first place, but please do support him. He's a very lovely theorist. So, what does this mean now, you may ask? Is Aiden finally going to let go of the idea of Shadow Freddy returning after holding on to it for as long as 2020? No, you idiot! It was already too late for me to give up when Scott threw a bone at me and put this quote in the FNaF character encyclopedia book. Once you're in the rabbit hole, you don't leave. Okay, all jokes aside, I have two ideas as to what Shadow Freddy could be doing in modern FNaF, so, well, strap on in. Alright, let me make this clear. This is not my idea. I found out thanks to Hyperdroid's video about the whole Shadow animatronics thing, so be sure to go support Hyperdroid too, because I want to spread love and joy. Okay, no, that's really corny, I'm sorry guys, but you get what I mean. So basically, Hyperdroid's theory says that the Shadow animatronics are literally one being. Shadow Freddy? Yeah, he's Shadow Bonnie. Shadow Bonnie? Yeah, he's Nightmarionne. You get what I mean. But I find it so interesting because, guess what? It all circles back to Shadow Freddy being Nightmarionne, and you will never escape my theory. No, but in all seriousness, this would be a very good solution for the problems that I've mentioned. But the reason why I haven't fully landed onto this option as of now is because of Shadow Bonnie. He assists the spirits in finding peace in FNaF 3, which feels a little bit contradictory to the rest of the shadow forms that are like comedically evil. I mean, Nightmarionne literally rants about death in one of their voice lines in UCN. That's like really evil. Though perhaps in the future, I'll come around as a full-on believer of this theory, but listen, make no mistake, this is still a very good theory, and it's a very good option too. This one is an original idea, so there's no one that I'm asking you to support. Oh wait, yes there is. Support me! I gotta get some support somehow. But right, let's get into this idea. To understand Shadow Freddy, you have to understand the Afton family too. It is very likely that Shadow Freddy is not only tied to the bite victim's death, but also William's killings. He goes on to haunt Mike as a nightmare, reminding him of his greatest mistake, not knowing when a prank goes too far. So we know that Shadow Freddy's whole thing is trauma. He's basically trauma incarnate, as he literally torments Mike as a shadowed version of Fredbear and recreates the missing children incident with William Afton. So how does this tie back to modern FNAF? As we know it, the Aftons are likely dead and only exist as this burning memory. That is, unless you take a certain someone into consideration, Vanessa. She's always been such a strange character. Her father's name is Bill, which is a nickname for Will, which is also a nickname for William. And not only that, but the FNAF movie showcases Vanessa as an Afton family member. Okay, so Vanessa is an Afton, but how do we know that she's going to be relevant to FNAF's story? Well, in the Scott Coffin interview 2.0, Scott states that he doesn't believe that Vanny was used to her fullest potential, and that he hopes to find another opportunity to utilize her again.
You know, I've always really liked Vanny as a character. I don't think that Vanny was utilized to her fullest potential, and so hopefully we'll see another opportunity for Vanny to return as well. We'll see.
This is Scott showing that he still has Vanny in mind, who is heavily connected to Vanessa, by the way, because, well, they're one and the same as shown in Security Breach. And this is where my idea comes to play. Perhaps Vanessa will be needing to get over her trauma in the future, almost like how Michael Afton had to fight his trauma in FNAF 4 with Shadow Freddy as his personal demon. We do see that Vanessa is struggling to move on in the marketing for the second FNAF movie, and Games Vanessa never truly got her conflicts resolved. Sure, she was freed from the glitch trap control, but her internal problems definitely just don't go poof like that. I mean, we see Vanessa being forced to stop her therapy as she was being transferred to the Pizzaplex. So what if Shadow Freddy's looking to torment her, so he can gain agony from her? Maybe Shadow Freddy doesn't need to be this overarching villain who will destroy the Mimic and after that, he's gonna eat Earth or whatever. Maybe he is here to showcase the idea of letting go of your past troubles. I don't think people look into the many themes that modern FNAF contains enough, because this one theme that we're focusing on, it's very interesting. And that theme being the importance of letting the past go. Think about it. Help Wanted 1 and 2 is about the past. Glitch Trap is literally recreating Afton's horrible deeds in Help Wanted 1 with Pizza Party. And in Help Wanted 2, it's about putting the past to rest. Us collecting those memory plushies, well, they're important because we're deciding to leave the past behind. We're lighting the graves up. We're letting it go once and for all. Glitch Trap is a reflection of the past of Afton, and he feeds on bringing back the pain from so many years ago. Glitch Trap's death in Help Wanted 2 is us putting the remaining past of Afton's crime to rest. This theory does look into the future rather than the present, but I do genuinely think that it has a shot in some way, despite how bizarre it may sound in paper. To summarize these two options, since I was yapping for quite a bit, Option 1 is that the Shadow animatronics are one single entity, which would make Shadow Freddy and Nightmarionne the same thing, just with some extra characters alongside them too. And Option 2 is that one of the future installments of FNAF will go into the mind of Vanessa, and Shadow Freddy will be there as her little personal demon, just like in FNAF 4. You know, when Part 1 came out, I was mixed. Now don't get me wrong, I'm fairly pleased with it now, but I was admittedly disappointed since I felt like I failed in making something people could genuinely be interested in. So for a while I was thinking about what I could even do with Part 2, but that was until I realized something. How about I don't go into one conclusion, but perhaps two on how it could go? I wanted this theory of mine to genuinely feel like I was not only just theorizing, but also getting an understanding of the narrative. I'm happy to say that I'm really proud of this video. Now, I don't know if you guys will agree with this theory, but even if you don't, I do hope that the things I said were, at the very least, interesting, because I think we, and admittedly even me, sometimes forget to look at the narrative as it is and see where we can go from there. As I said before, I'm personally really proud of this theory, but I'm gonna keep it a buck with you guys. This will probably be my last one because, I don't know what other Shadow Freddy stuff I could possibly talk about. But hey, what do I know? Maybe a FNAF movie 2 and literally any other FNAF related media does anything interesting with him. We'll have to see though. But this is as far as I can go without losing the plot on why I'm even doing this in the first place. Like, I would literally sound insane if we did a part 3. I probably would have talked about how, like, Gronkus is Shadow Freddy or something like that. Feel free to comment down your thoughts or even ideas on all of this. I just ask that you please be respectful to both me and the people that you may talk to. This has been DJ Aiden, and I will see you all on the flip side. And thank you so much for the support. It means a lot to me.